on Sunrise at 6. In every other state, it's just basketball. But in Indiana, it just means more.
Basketball fans will be everywhere here in downtown Indianapolis.
Who will cut down the nets at Gainbridge Fieldhouse and Lucas Oil Stadium? We've got live coverage of what to expect this weekend from the boys basketball state championships and the Sweet 16.
March Madness applies to the weather too. From the unseasonably warm 70s today to storms as folks are heading in to watch high school boys basketball and the Indy 11 home opener. Plus, a stormy Sunday too. It's all coming up in my 7-day outlook.
Give me one first.
And video game numbers from the Indiana Pacers. 2 longtime franchise records disappear in thin air as the blue and gold get the big win in the nation's capital. We've got highlights from the Pacers dragging of the Wizards. Live from 13 News, you're up with Sunrise.
Let's just keep it going with the basketball. We'll be looking at Lucas Oil Stadium all weekend long. It's March Madness, and it comes to Indy this weekend. It's a big basketball weekend. You know that by now in our Circle City. Our Anna Chalker is breaking it all down for us coming up in just a few minutes. But we're glad you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise on a Friday morning.
That's right, 6 o'clock. I'm Julia Moffett along with Julia Brooks and Chuck Lofton. We know basketball here in Indiana.
Absolutely.
We also know how to host big events, and we certainly have it this weekend. Now we just need to worry about our weather.
Yeah.
Make sure we have some perfect weather for the fans.
Sounds good, but this morning you might be like,
Right.
hey, things are looking a little rocky for us, but this is moving out for us eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
We know hoops, but I don't know if we know driving in rain because we've already got a couple of crashes Matthew's working on. We'll have that in a moment, but this is a look at a place where it's raining this morning. Good morning, Carmel. Just one of several counties in Hamilton County that have been seeing rain. This is 465 in Biddeford at I-69. Crash there plus rain. And this is a look at live Doppler 13 radar. So let's zoom in and show you some of the areas where the heavy rain's occurring. This is Brownsburg, now headed towards the Motor Speedway. Zionsville, good morning. Heavy rain at the home of the Eagles. And now Lebanon, you're seeing some heavy cells moving through. Not much lightning. If you were with us at 4 a.m., it was a completely different story. We were talking about very active thunderstorms right now from Morgantown to Trafalgar, from Nineveh out towards that Nineveh-Hensley-Jackson school district. That's where some heavy rain is falling as well. Out of Rushville, too. Pendleton and Anderson, LaPel, Noblesville, Fishers, and as we mentioned, Carmel seeing basically light rain this morning. But again, look at this thunderstorm now moving out of Rushville towards Connorsville, Cambridge City, and downtown Richmond this morning. So be prepared. It is wet out there, and it's also unseasonably warm for this time of the morning. 50 in Indy, 52 from Bloomington and Shelbyville to Muncie. And as we go through the day, sunrise, though we won't be able to see it, will be at 7:35 this morning. At that point, still going to be raining around the area, as we'll see much of the morning, but a different story, 77 today. And as we've been mentioning, and we want this to stick with you if you're headed out, we've got problems potentially on Sunday with a scenario for an enhanced risk of severe weather, especially in the afternoon and evening, with a medium threat for high winds, tornadoes, and large hail. Much more on that right now. You know, as I mentioned, Matt, we've got to slow it down out there if you're driving in the rain.
Yeah, it can be tough in times when you have a bigger downpour sitting right over you. Some road spray on the roads this morning at times as well. We've got 2 crashes to work. Let's go ahead and start on the northeast side. This is I-465 north as you're hopping onto I-69, causing a little bit of a backup now. We had a crash with a semi, but I do think we've got some improvements. The semi has been able to be moved, and it looks like crews are finishing up and wrapping up this section. This is a tough one too, because you got barriers on both sides. It's a tight squeeze here, so it's been taking about an hour and a half to really kind of clean this up. But still, the outside lane is the only lane that's open. Then we head to the west side of the city, I-465 south. Look at the wet roads there this morning and some road spray behind the vehicles. This is looking in the southbound direction as you're headed to West 56th Street. There's been a crash, but so far cruising and folks can get right by it okay. But watch out for the rain this morning. We've got it. Here's a closer look with the maps this morning. This is just on the east side of Eagle Creek as you're headed south from about Traders Point and headed south to Avon. We also have all the westbound ramps of I-70 to State Road 9. That's Greenfield. They're closed right now. Julia.
We are getting ready for a weekend of basketball.
And a lot of it. I was just hoping I didn't hit you in the face, Julia. Tonight is the NCAA Midwest Regional Sweet 16. We've got Kentucky taking on Tennessee. That's at 7:30.
That's right. Set your alarm clocks, though. Purdue Boilermakers, they're taking on the Houston Cougars for a late tip right after, a little after 10 o'clock prediction. Anna Chalker is at Lucas Oil Stadium this morning, where the final preparations are all underway for the fans and the games. Hey, Anna.
Hey there, ladies. I just got to tell you, we got to get our naps scheduled now if we're going to want to watch that late game tonight. And I'll tell you, it's dark at Lucas Oil, but the energy is high out here this morning. We've got so much to talk about. So this morning, we're talking with Sarah Meyer with Indiana Sports Corps. Good morning. The day's finally here, Sweet 16. I mean, how crazy is that?
It's awesome because, you know, we actually haven't hosted a regular regional. Now, we hosted the regional here in 2021, but that was a different time, but not since 2014. So we're so excited to bring college basketball back into Lucas Oil.
And it's not just here. We have WNIT and NIT next week, and you said around 40 postseason college games. I mean, that is just insane.
It's been a wild March, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, with all of this happening this weekend, next week with WBIT and NIT at Hinkle, we had the Big Ten tournaments, more than 40 postseason college games. So, I mean, Indianapolis continues to be the best sports host city.
They really do. And what can people expect as they're heading out here for tonight's games, but also for Sunday as well for Elite Eight?
Great crowds, honestly. So we're excited about the teams that we got here because they're great travel teams. So we're excited. I mean, we've already seen fans here. I mean, I saw some last night actually having dinner. They are ready and they're excited to show up for their team. So a great fan base in Lucas Oil Stadium. We're actually the only ones that host a regional in an NFL stadium. So we're expecting lots of fans. There's still some tickets, but it's going to be pretty full.
We're excited for that, Sarah. Thank you so much. There's so much going on. 3 days of basketball. We'll be touching on Saturday and all the high school events. That'll be coming up at 6:30.
All right, we'll see you in just a bit. Thank you, Anna.
All right, well, a reminder for Eastsiders this morning, you are still under a boil water advisory right now following a huge water main break yesterday.
And that advisory is expected to last through at least tomorrow at noon. So that means you need to boil any water that you plan to use to drink or cook with for at least 3 minutes. So again, if you live or work on the east side, here's that area, the map to showcase where you need to boil your water, to be exact here. This was the scene yesterday morning near 22nd and Dr. Andrew J. Brown. So that water was flooding the street on the east side, and now thousands of homes and businesses are dealing with the aftermath this morning.
Yeah, those businesses wrestled with the idea, do they close or stay open for the day? And even restaurants, of course, having a hard time deciding whether they should operate, but decided some of them to just do it with a limited menu and precaution.
As a business owner, it's scary because you're afraid to be closed, but you also don't want to put anybody in harm's way. And, you know, we want to make sure, so like calling the health department and making sure that we're doing all the right things.
So that was the owner of Snug Pub in Irvington. They do expect to be open today.
Well, right now we are reaching out to Citizens Energy to see if they can give us an update on that boil water advisory. We'll let you know as soon as we find out on air and online.
Well, right now, investigators in Bloomington are working to identify skeletal remains found in a wooded area on the north side of that city. Police say the remains appear to be human. They tell us they received a call to Acuff Road, just north of State Road 45 and I-69. Investigators say crews clearing land in that area made the discovery. The Monroe County coroner responded to the scene along with a forensic anthropologist team to recover those remains.
We'll take a look at plans from Democrats for changes to a bill addressing property taxes in Indiana.
Senate Bill 1 right now is in the hands of the House Ways and Means Committee. Representative Greg Porter is the ranking minority member. Democrats are now offering 11 amendments to that bill. Porter says the changes at the top of his list include a 1% cap on how much property taxes could actually increase each year for those 65 and older. Right now, that cap is 2%. Porter also has an amendment for a state-funded homestead property tax freeze for veterans who have a service-related disability.
Now, another amendment would increase the renter's deduction from $3,000 to $5,000. Democratic House Minority Leader Phil Giaquinta tells us that he's looked at Porter's plan and he supports it.
We really need to make sure that the focus is on homeowners and not corporations. And that's what, if we have the opportunity as the House Democrats, we'll push some amendments to do just that.
Governor Mike Braun's original property tax relief plan called for cutting property taxes by $1 billion across the state. Lawmakers have about a month left to hammer out a deal for that. Well, Indiana's best high school basketball teams will be competing this weekend for a state title at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
And for one team, this is their first IHSAA boys basketball state championship appearance. We're talking about University High School in Carmel, so they're celebrating this big accomplishment, as well as the 25th anniversary of the school's founding. That's the pep rally yesterday to get everyone ready for this big weekend. You hear the horns going, the crowd cheering, a lot of school spirit there. The Trailblazers are featured in Class 2A. They'll play Manchester, and they should hit the court about 12:45 tomorrow afternoon if you're looking for them. Well, have you heard of this phrase, shooting the lights out? Well, that is exactly what the Pacers did last night.
A record-breaking offensive performance for the Pacers as they absolutely destroy the Washington Wizards. The final of this one, 162-109. That 162, by the way, a new franchise record.
Those kind of numbers to the party, and I'm just curious what you were looking for.
We have all kinds of numbers going on, and there it is, 159 points.
That three-pointer was from Quentin Johnson. That's what broke the team record scoring of 157 points. So the Blue and Gold also set a franchise record for three-pointers, a lot of them, 27 in total, breaking the team high of 24. It actually got so bad at one point that the Pacers actually seemed like they stopped trying to score the last 3 minutes of the game. That's what you call beating the brakes off.
Right,
the team
okay, I got that.
So up next for the Pacers, they meet in OKC to play the Thunder. Tip-off is Saturday at 8 o'clock.
They play like they're still mad at LeBron.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
All right, well, while it is a big basketball weekend, there's also another home opener happening in the Circle City.
We got some special guests coming up at 6:45 this morning. If you can stick with us, you don't want to miss it.